Hi, everyone, and welcome to a really exciting car here on the Car Reviews podcast with CollectorCarCanada.ca. Today, as I say, an exciting one. We have a 1986 Porsche 911 Turbo 4-speed manual, also known by the internal Porsche name of 930. As I say, it's a 4-speed manual. The turbos, when they started out in 1975, could not find a robust enough 5-speed in the Porsche factory. So they were 4 speeds all the way through 1988. 1989, the last year of this G body, the turbo got a 5-speed for 1 year only in the G body because the 964 began in model year 1990, continuing on with the 5-speed and eventually the 6 in the 993. But this car, 1986 Porsche 911 Turbo 4-speed manual. On the clock right now, it has under 114,000 miles. It's a US market car. It's been with the same owner for 20 years, and he bought it in Canada. So you can see history on the car on our Carfax report in terms of the importation from the US. It's also had a color change. The current owner bought it as a red car. And when we looked around at the car, we could see evidence of the red. We pulled up the floor mats to get photos of the naked floor. We could also see in the engine compartment the remnants of red paint, rather. And then underneath, when we had some photos done at the owner's preferred shop, there was the red Cosmoline underneath the car as well. So, but I'll say one other thing I'll say on the color change is that no surface showing to the naked eye when the car is in operation. In no place can you see any red. But original red car, now a yellow car. I'm going to call it speed yellow, but I don't know that it's the proper Porsche speed yellow. Over the black interior, the interior was reupholstered in 2022. Over the last 10 years, the owner says he's done about 10,000 miles, so average about 1,000 miles a year for the past 10 years. Before that, though, altogether in his 20 years, he said he'd done about, I think it was about 43,000 miles. So the car's had its exercise, and it's had lots of work done to it in the recent past, in those 10,000 miles. The top end of the engine has been rebuilt. The transmission has been rebuilt. As I mentioned earlier, the interior. So the seats were reupholstered. The door cards were reupholstered. Even the headliner was changed, going back about 3 years on that. So about 3,000 miles ago. When we get a look at the interior, you're going to see evidence of what I say, because the interior of the car really does pop. Okay, so change of picture. We just wanted to reshoot when the car is cold. So this is a legitimate cold start. We did start it once, and we have that one as a demo video. So legitimate cold start. This is about to be the second start in 4 days. So as I say, we've got the cold start on the detailed listing for lot 289, the 1986 Porsche 911 Turbo 4-speed manual. When it rolled out of the factory, the 3.3 liter flat 6 engine was rated at 282 horsepower with 278 pound-feet of torque. So without further ado, the second start of the day for the purposes of our car review video. Here we go. All right. Later on in the video, you'll see a couple of gauges, aftermarket, that are mounted in the center, just above the center stack, and the controls for the air conditioning. As I'll say later in the video, the compressor's been removed, but it does come included with the car. In any event, the two gauges, one's for turbo boost, and the other one is for the air to fuel mixture. So I'm going to hop out and grab the camera, and we'll take a close look at the engine, get a listen to it, and the exhaust at idle. We do have several driving videos on the detailed listing for lot 289, so you can hear the engine more at work then. For the sake of this video, just at idle speed. So the idle's just slowed down a bit. I'm just checking the tach. When I started it, it was a little closer to 1100 RPM. We can see it's dove down to about 750 or 800 RPM. And I've got a separate microphone so that we can listen into those pulleys and belts at idle speed. And now the idle. Getting a start with our exterior tour of the 1986 Porsche 911 Turbo 4-speed manual. We'll move right in on the very proper Fuchs wheels, and they're lined in a set of Pirelli P0 Rosso tires. I noticed the date code on those is 2021, an estimated 3,000 or 4,000 miles traveled. So there's the Pirelli label and the P0 Rosso label. And you can see up front here, they're sized at 205, 55, ZR16 with the Y rating. And there's a look at the date code there for 2029. Pardon me, the 2021, 29th week of 2021. Porsche center cap on the 16-inch Fuchs. You might have noticed in the background when we did the intro and the start that the owner lives on by a gravel driveway. So as well as the car was detailed earlier, you do see some evidence of the dust from the gravel. I do notice a little mark up here by the driver's side headlight, and running my finger over it, I think I've got to conclude that it's a scratch. I'll pull out a toonie just to give you some perspective, and there's the coin relative to the scratch. So I think it's been touched up a little bit too. Moving along here, we've got the dual color coded mirrors in the 86 930. Clean down here as well. A little bit of gravel guard on the rocker, as well as the rubberized jack point. I did say earlier there's no evidence of any red, but when I get in really close, there's a little bit of paint imperfection on that rocker, and we do see a bit of red. Car is equipped with a sunroof. There's a look at it. We have some photos of that on our detailed listing. Again, lot 289. And then this black piece here, it's more than a contrasting piece of trim. It's to protect those fender flares that jut out so much, as you can see from there. In the driving videos we did of the car earlier, we had a little fun with that. Our cameraman, of course, was in the passenger seat, and he used the side mirror to get a shot of those wide haunches from up front using the rear mirror. So here's a good look at the driver's side rear Pirelli P0 Rosso tire. Pirelli, there's a P0 Rosso emblem. And in the rear here, we're looking at 245 45 ZR16, again with the Y rating, and also a date of 2021, so 47th week of 2021. The just wiping off what looks like some wax, and of course there's some dust here from the gravel. I think this is wax too, yeah. The owner had these wheels refinished in the past 3 to 5 years by the Wheel Wizard in Hamilton. So 3 to 5 years, in case it seems long ago, no more than 5,000 miles traveled since they since they were refinished. And of course, the tires are newer than that. You can look at the Porsche branded caliper here in the rear, and as well we can see the cross drilled rotor. So this was Porsche's performance car. I suppose there'd be some 928 aficionados who would argue that was more the car in 86. Of course, that was the 5-liter V8 had just started for the 928 at that time, but evidence of it being top model with these Porsche branded calipers and the cross drilled rotors. So we're working our way around. Of course, the big whale tail spoiler, and in case you think that's just for show, take a look at our detailed listing photos, and we saw it when we toured the engine earlier. Of course, that intercooler juts out way above where the line from the rear glass down to the bumper would go. So although that looks like it juts out somewhat awkwardly, there is as much function behind it as form. I should say more function to it than form. So there's a good look at that whale tail spoiler from the rear. 86, of course, the first year for the center high mount stop lamp, or the third brake light, and there it is in place. We've got a rear wiper as well, which folds up smartly, I might add, when the engine cover is opened. And then the two bumperettes to protect the bumper. Surrounding right now is our own license plate cover. And there's a good look at the single exit. The owner had been running a straight pipe for most of the last few years. He has had a Fab Speed muffler installed for the new owner, but the straight pipe setup is just another thing that goes along with the car on the deal for this 1986 Porsche 911 Turbo 4-speed manual. Again, lot 289 on CollectorCarCanada.ca. So the straight pipe, as well as the original intercooler and some other mechanical goodies, we do have photos of in the detailed listing. We also talk about it in words on that detailed listing. So I'll get a look at that fender flare from here in the rear. Really does jet out for as much performance as looks, if not more performance than looks. And here's a good look at the P0 Rosso here on the passenger side right, mounted of course on the Fuchs wheel over the disc brakes with Porsche branded caliper and cross drilled rotor. Do you see a bit of an imperfection on the flare protection here? There's a crack in that rubber piece. Nothing too catastrophic, however. And I noticed the bit of red paint on the rocker on the driver's side. I don't notice it over here on the passenger side. And then we've got the passenger side color-coded flag style mirror. Porsche people call that the flag style. It looks kind of the shape of a flag. And then we've got the fourth tire to see in our little walk around. Again, it's 205 55 ZR16 for the P0 Rosso. Up here up front, Y rated, 2021 date code, a profile view of the front spoiler and bumper. Now that bumper was replaced after a mishap just a couple of years ago. You can see the details of that on the Carfax. No structural damage. And as I say, we've got the full story on the Carfax. So take a look at that, please, on the detailed listing. The exposed headlamps in the sugar scoop style, complete with headlight washers just in front of them. So a 1986 Porsche 911 Turbo 4-speed manual in really presentable condition. Let's move on to the interior. Moving to the interior, I'm not going to climb into it right away. I did want to show you, without me sitting on the seat, the reupholstered leather here on both seats. We happen to be closer to the driver's seat. And there's a contrasting yellow stitch to match the exterior of the car. I made a wisecrack to the owner a little while ago about how you couldn't go back to the red paint if given that the seats were contrasting yellow now with that stitching. And he told me that the person who installed the upholstery said they could be dyed to whatever color you wanted in about 10 minutes. So I was kidding around about the red, but maybe the next owner is going to prefer black, and piece of cake to get it switched over to black. Going back from black to yellow might be a little bit more of a trick, but up to the next owner. And I'll also show the reupholstered door card, and it's got that same dual stitch pattern in yellow, nice and tight. Power windows on the 911 Turbo, and there's the door lock, and there's the manual control for the door lock. Door hinges look nice and clean, as do the sills, and we've got pictures of the undersides of the doors, in addition to many, many photos, even a video of the underside of the car on our detailed listing, again, lot 289. So we'll get in a little closer. As I said earlier, the car was detailed in the past couple of days, but um, the owner's lucky enough to live on a nice acreage here, but it's got a gravel driveway, so the dust sort of follows the feet of the occupants, and that's why we see it's not perfectly clean. The passenger side, I suppose, a little cleaner, um, but recently detailed, pre-driveway, gravel driveway drive down. So getting into the instrumentation here, of course, you see the centrally mounted tack, all business in this sports car. Got a fuel tank over on the left, and then the oil pressure gauge. All the instrumentation is by VDO, you see there. Pretty common to Porsche. And we've got, I almost said coolant temperature, but this is an air-cooled car, so there's no coolant temperature gauge in this car. So oil temperature and then oil pressure. Into the center, the tack, and to the right. Again, I mentioned earlier it's a US market car, so we see it miles per hour as the dominant measure. We do see kilometers an hour though in the gray numbers, and today we're at 113,634 miles, going to its new owner with under 114,000 miles. Down below you can see the switch for the headlight washers, and to the right of it there's a still functioning VDO quartz clock. I could even hear it ticking when we were doing the photos. Ignition over here on the left side of the steering wheel, and there's the headlight control. Moving to the center, the car is equipped with air conditioning. The compressor, although removed, does come with the car. The original Blaupunk Monterey SQR23 is in place. However, their speakers are not installed in the car right now. The current owners of the mind that this car's sound is about what the engine and exhaust make. So pre-wired for speakers, no speakers installed at the moment. Fog light control up there above the radio, and a lighter, and a park brake and fasten seatbelt warning up to the top left of the radio. And as I say, the air conditioning, the compressor is not in place right now, but those are the HVAC controls otherwise. The turbo boost gauge, that was at the base of the factory one's at the base of the tack here. The one at the base of the tack needs repair. I think the owner said he was quoted around $1,000 to have that done. He's not had it done. He's had, I think I mentioned he's had the top end rebuilt. With all that engine work, he decided to go for this combo set here. So there's no air fuel ratio from the factory in this car, but you can see there's one installed on the right now. So that enables the driver to monitor that ratio. Keeps it around 14, I think it is. And then there's a boost gauge on the left side. You can see the Turbo Smart emblem above the needle. So that boost is measured in bar, just like the Germans like to do. And then down below, there's more climate control gauges, or controls rather. But as I say, the compressor is torn out. Well, torn out's not the right word. Removed. Rear defrost and four-way hazards, as well as a fader for the stereo should the new owner decide to put speakers in. 4-speed manual. I've told you about that earlier on the 930s. And the handbrake is set. And as well, there's a rear defrost gate right there. If you sense the cut in the action, it's because the owner just pulled in another car and I wanted to speak to him before he brought dinner home to the family. In any event, so there's a good look at the passenger side. Even less wear over there, as you see. But yeah, only a couple thousand miles done since these seats were reupholstered. And there's a different angle of the reupholstered door card with the dual yellow stitching. Good look at the footwell for the passenger. So long as I mentioned it, we'll just pull these mats up and you can see, I got him caught behind his seat control. You can see that this was originally a red car, but in terms of corrosion, certainly clean floors. And there's the one for the passenger side. We pulled them up for the rear or the rear footwells as well. But yeah, pretty clean interior. So the passenger seat is manual only. However, it's a combo on the front seat. So this control moves the seat forward and back. And then these you can fiddle with recline. Pretty common Porsche controls for the 80s. I mentioned the 928 earlier. They've got very similar seat controls. And look at the rear seat. You don't want any big adults going for long drives in them, but in a pinch, they can be used. They can be used for small children as well. I got a look at that parcel shelf earlier too, and it looks to be in good condition, as is the dashboard. No signs of wear. Certainly no hints even of cracking on the dash. And I mentioned the seat covering, the seat upholstery, and the upholstery on the door cards, as well as those. The headliner was replaced in the last couple of years too. So really presentable interior. So long as we're talking about the interior, let's go take a look at, well, I suppose it's not part of the interior, but the front trunk, or the frunk as some Porsche people like to call it. It's a little tricky to open here. Let's see if I can do it with the camera running. There we go. So nice clean underside of that front trunk cover, and clean carpet as well. You can see some fluid top-ups there, and underneath the carpet there's a Space Saver spare, and there's a tool roll down there as well. We unrolled that for the photos. So the tool kit, I won't call it mint condition, but it is intact, and you can take a look. When I say take a look at our detailed listing for the photos. Lot 289 on CollectorCarCanada.ca. So that's our look at the 1986 Porsche 911 Turbo 4-speed manual. Again, it's a yellow. It's a color change from the original red over a reupholstered black interior with light yellow accenting that can be reversed to black should the new owner desire. Under 114,000 miles on this US market car. It's been with the current owner about 20 years. And it's lot 289 on CollectorCarCanada.ca. That's going to do it. So thank you for watching, and we're going to move on to the next car.